Hey Scorn, what are you playing? I'm playing Ghostrunner. What kind of game is Ghostrunner? Is it another shitty parkour game? No, of course not. It's amazing. You know what? Why don't you see for yourself? What the fuck? Told you so. Wow, playing that game was almost as good as Ultra Kill? That wasn't what I was gonna say, but I guess that's true. Man, that was a ton of fun. I should write a review for it. Go ahead. It would make a great video for your channel. Thanks for showing me this game. I'll get right to it. Ghostrunner. A fast-paced, close combat sword slashing, one-hit kill, one-hit die type of game. I love this game, and it's got to be my second favorite game of all time, at least in the FPS genre. Ultra Kill is my first favorite game of all time, and Ghostrunner comes close behind. Should you play this game? Yes, I am incredibly based. Stick with me, and I will give you the bloody, fast, brutal, and fun experience that is Ghostrunner. Let's start with the combat, since that was the first priority of the developer. The combat is incredibly fast, with bloody and brutal slashing battles. In this game, your only weapon is a sword, which would normally be a problem, but in this game, it's not. Most first-person games cannot pull off a sword-only type of combat, but this game does it well. You see, every enemy dies to a single slash, except bosses. This may make it seem like it's too easy, but you also die to one hit, making the game incredibly hard. However, there isn't a single hit you can't dodge, and there are some projectiles that you can parry back at the enemy, meaning the game is hard, but fair. Most enemies have guns, but you just have a sword as well as a couple abilities. The game is fairly hard, and you will die a lot, but there's never a situation that seems unfair or unbalanced. However, every time you die, the game will respawn you the second you press the respawn button. There are no loading times between deaths, meaning that the second you die, you're back in action. This is very nice because other games, such as Halo, will have you waiting at least 30 seconds with every death. This isn't a problem for games like Dark Souls, which have deaths at a less frequent rate, but in games like Ghostrunner and Ultra Kill, where you can sometimes die every 10 seconds, quick loading times are very important. If you had to wait 30 seconds after every death, you'd spend more time in the loading screens than you would in combat. In this game, you can slash through enemies, and you can also parry projectiles. If you have the right upgrades, you can deflect projectiles back at your enemies and kill them with their own bullets. There are also 4 special abilities: Blink, Tempest, Surge, and Overlord. Blink kills 3 enemies and shoots you forward, slicing through any projectiles being shot at you as well. Tempest sends out a shockwave that kills any enemies within its short range. It reflects projectiles back at your enemy. However, it does not pierce through energy shields, unlike the other 3. Surge sends out a slash that can kill any enemies caught in its range, but it's a slash, so it doesn't have vertical range. It pierces shields, but it's hard to line up. Overlord takes one enemy and commands them to attack their nearest ally. This one isn't that good, because it only temporarily allows them to kill one enemy before they get killed by another ally, and it basically only kills 2 enemies, while the other 3 abilities can kill more. Overlord is the last one you get, and it's the worst, unfortunately. If you want one piece of advice, have Tempest equipped for most of the time, and only switch to another for more niche scenarios. Also, don't use Overlord, it's pretty bad compared to the others. So let's talk about what all this is for. Killing. Let's discuss the different types of enemies you'll meet on the battlefield. There are a ton of different enemy types in this game, but I won't talk about them all in detail. The first enemies are equipped with laser pistols that shoot a single bolt of energy at you. This is very easy to dodge and can be parried. They die to one hit, just like most other enemies. The second enemy shoots a barrage of plasma shots. This guy is hard to dodge, but he still dies to one hit, and his attacks can be reflected back at him. Although this is incredibly risky, because if you parry one attack, you can get hit by the next. Then there's these guys with giant fists that fist you. They jump up in the air and fist you. Yeah, those guys. They can also hit you while you're in the air, making them incredibly dangerous. They incentivize you to stand still and bait out their attacks, which makes them unique. Well, actually, they're not the only enemies that make you stand still. This motherfucker requires you to wait for him to attack, then you have to parry it and retaliate. He requires patience in a game where you're normally moving at Mach 5. There's an arena where there's 5 of these bastards. The only good thing about that arena is the fact that they are the only guys here, and you can kill 3 of them with one special ability. There are also these shield generators, which protect your enemies until you can hit the generator with your sword or with a special ability. There are also a few abilities that can pierce the shield, like Blink, Surge, and Overlord. Tempest can't pierce them, but that doesn't change my opinion on Tempest. It's still the best ability. However, there's gotta be somebody that you can't kill in one hit. Let's discuss the bosses.
GR-74 located. Kill switch component not found. Mission to engage. Granted.
There are a few enemies in this game that don't die to a single hit, but these are bosses, and they knock you back after each time you hit them. However, most bosses only have 3 or 4 hit points, meaning that you only have to get past their guard a couple times to kill them. This all works together nicely to form an elaborate dance with the boss that results in a very fun experience. There are 3 bosses in this game, and I will tell you about the first 2, but I'd prefer to let you experience the last one for yourself. The first boss is not really a commander, nor is it a combatant. It's an automated elevator security system. This elevator has a system of lasers that you must dodge as you climb this elevator shaft to destroy the 2 circuits holding it up. Once you destroy the first one, you fall even further down than where you were when you first started. Now you have to climb even farther, and now there's these pulses of fire that cover the walls as you try to wall run. These will also one-shot you, just like the lasers. You have to time your jumps and memorize laser patterns to reach the top. Of course, this boss has 3 health chunks, so once you cut it down, you're not done. You have to run along the ground as lasers and pulses of fire cover the ground. You have to get up close and break 2 shield generators to expose the core, then you have to grappling hook onto the core to destroy it. When I first played this level, I was so incredibly grateful for the fast respawn times. I died over 300 times, and it took me well over an hour. I have since beaten it with only 20 deaths in under 10 minutes. Did I mention that this game has a death counter and a timer at the end of each level? Well, you know now. I love this boss, and I have played it at least a dozen times. The second boss, and the last boss I will be discussing, is Hell, a cheap knockoff of a Ghostrunner. She has 4 hit points, but you can't just hit her. You have to parry a long combo of attacks, then retaliate when she staggers back. You have to be very precise with your timings, with any attack being too early resulting in having to restart her combo, and any parry too late resulting in your death. You have to parry 4 different combos, because after each time you hit her, she jumps to another platform and begins throwing projectiles at you. You have to get to her and engage in combat once more, and you have to deal with a new combo for each point of health. Each combo is harder to counter, and the death results in having to restart from the first combo. This all culminates in one hell of a boss fight, if you get my pun. I love this boss. It's more of a dance than it is a fight, and I'm all for it. When you finally beat her, you get a very satisfying cinematic. Gives me chills every time. When it comes to platforming and parkour, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can dash, slide, wall run, grapple hook, and use blank to move. You can even ride on drones and steer them with your sword. This game is just so cool. I love all the things you can do. The movement feels so smooth, and I love it. That's about all I have to talk about for platforming, but I will say that it's very important for a game like this. Let's move on to the story. Yes, I am talking about the story last. That's because it was the last priority of the developers, so I'm talking about it last. I'll refrain from any spoilers here, so I'll just tell you everything that happens before the game takes place. You are a Ghostrunner, number 74 to be precise. You were meant to be a peacekeeper, a bodyguard, and anything else you were needed for. You, along with 99 other Ghostrunners, were meant to protect the Architect, but he was killed by Mara, a Dr. Octopus-looking person. Every Ghostrunner was killed by Mara, except you. Your arm was torn off, and you were thrown into an elevator shaft, where the climbers found you. They repaired you and replaced your arm, but that wasn't all. Mara had a device that could short-circuit any Ghostrunner that she wanted to, but the climbers weren't able to replace that part, meaning that Mara can't shut you down again. That being said, you must make your way to the top of the tower and kill Mara, saving humanity and avenging the Architect. That is where the game starts, with the Ghostrunner just waking up from a long nap. And that is where I will stop talking about the story to avoid spoilers. Let's move on to the final verdict. Should you buy this game? Yes, I am very much based. I love movement shooters, even though this isn't really a shooter. It's close enough. I adore this game, and if you like fast-paced games like Doom and Ultrakill, you will too. Playing this game is like doing crack, but without all the negative effects. It's a friggin' acid trip, and it's the most fun I've had with a game since Ultrakill. 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate that you took the time to watch my video, and I'll try to respond to every comment and smile at every like. I'll see you guys in the next video.